Hello friends, welcome to another episode of the Test-Driven Development Screencast. My name is Jov and this video is continuation where we left off in the previous one, which is the point where we needed to introduce dependency injection framework. So let's see how that's gonna go. I'm gonna switch here in the code and as we can see, this is the point where we left in the previous one. So now is the time to introduce the dependency injection. So now I was doing some investigation on which DI should I use and which one to go with basically. And I've done quite some investigation and I made a decision to go with Koin. And the reason behind it is that Koin is the only one that is allowing me to replace a dependency, replace a single thing that I want to replace for a particular test. I'm gonna explain that in details when we get there. Hopefully a bit later. So but the idea is that, for example, I have some structure, right? Some of the layers, for example, the repository or the in-memory user catalog, and let's say that I want to swap some of those, like in the for a particular test I want to swap one thing. Let's say Koin is allowing me to do that easily, while the other ones, the other dependency injection frameworks, they are not. Now one may argue that that Koin is not really dependency injection framework, it's sort of a service locator. It doesn't really matter. I can do dependency injections manually, but like Koin is sort of close to manual injection, but still allowing me to do the things that I want to do. Of course, it might be less performant a little bit, but I don't think it's gonna be a problem, especially for this application. So let's give it a go and see how that's gonna go. So first of all, let's go into presentation mode so we'll be able to see everything. And I'm gonna open, so here is the place where we left off previously. So here we are constructing the entire tree of the structure that we need in order to create the view model, and then we are using the view model later on. So basically this has to be created somewhere else. Particularly we are gonna use the Koin as the place to do that. So we're gonna create a module and define this in there. So first of all, let's maybe remove this preview here because for some reason it shows as an error and it bothers me. And anyway, I'm not using the preview here. It's not that stable, so I'm just gonna get rid of it. And I'll check that in. So here is a commit that I've created before I'm starting to record. Basically, I've also updated to some of the dependencies, as we can see here. The compose itself also, and the Gradle wrapper, the build plugin, and the compose version to beta 4. I think this is really good and steady pace that they are having in releasing new compose versions. I hope by the Google I/O compose gonna be 1.0 stable. That's gonna be great, but yeah, let's see. So and here I'm gonna check this in and I'll say remove the preview annotation from the composable screen, from the composable. And another thing that I want to do at the very beginning is to rename this, because this is sort of called sign up and it's not very clear what it stands for. I think it's a time to introduce some sort of terminology, and then that's gonna be that will allow us to distinct the things, right? So what this sign up means, basically, it's sort of a screen, right? So I'm thinking, like, instead of like sign up composable, I'm just gonna say sign up screen, and then within the screen I can use the components, so maybe they won't need to have some sort of suffix afterwards, but at least for the screens I want to be able to distinguish them. So I'll just rename this to sign up screen. And also the actual file where this lives I'm gonna rename, and I'll check that in. So basically that's just a rename, and renamed sign up composable into sign up screen. Yeah. Okay, and now I'm gonna go ahead and open the build Gradle. Let's maybe first run the tests and see if something got broken. So I have an emulator running here. So that's the only test in the UI that I had so far, which is still green, which means I didn't break anything. And now here, it's about time to add the Koin dependencies. Let me just grab them. I have them prepared. So here they are. Basically, they were somewhat different before until they were under J. I think that the deprecated one build Gradle, the J center. When they were in J center, these artifacts were named differently. Now they're named differently, and because they moved into Maven Central, and also there is 3.0.1 version, which is in beta, which is again okay because Compose is also in beta. So we are gonna use this one. Let's go ahead and sync this. Okay. Now we should be able to use Koin. So the first thing that we need to do in order to use Koin is we have to define an application, because how Koin, like how any dependency injection works, is like it has a container where it sort of instantiates the things, and then it will be able to construct whatever we are trying to inject, whatever we are requesting from there. And then it has some modules where we define how those things are being constructed. So we are sort of instructing that thing. So let's go ahead and create first of all, the application class. And I'll name this friends application, which is going to be an application class. And here we should be able to do start Koin. Yeah. But first of all, because we have created the friends application, we have to tell to the manifest that from now on, instead of using the default application, this is the application that it has to use. And so we do that just by saying here name, and it finds it. So let's maybe create here a package. I'm gonna name it app, and I'll put this one inside the app. Yeah, so it changed. Oh, it did not. Okay. So I'm trying to move to package, and then okay, for some reason it is not moving it, or it did. There is something weird going on here. Okay. So now here, let's create the friends application that derives from an application, and then it has the onCreate. Okay, and now it's inside a package, and I'll open the manifest, And here we have the app.friends application. And basically that's it. So from now on, it's gonna use our application. If I run again, nothing should change, but this class should not show as unused, basically. So the tests are working. But for some reason, it is not showing as it still shows as unused, but it doesn't matter. I think it's sort of a studio problem because it's also a canary, so I would assume it's something wrong with the studio, but doesn't matter. Let's check that in. I think we forgot to first. Let's check this one in. So add Koin dependency, and then here we're gonna say app friends application, and that's in the source main Java whatever. That's where it has to be. We also commit that one. Introduced the custom application class. And now let's go ahead here and create a module, a Koin module, where we will define how these things are gonna be created, instantiated. So I'll name this application module, and what we have to do inside is just define the application module, let's say, which is going to be a module. That's the one that we need. And now here, I'll grab this thing. I no longer need this one. I'll close it. So I'm just gonna paste it here. And now out of this, I have to create the graph, how it looks, how it is going to look like. So let's close the side navigation so that it's gonna be cleaner. First of all, we have to create a view model, and then this is gonna be our sign up view model. Now this is not compiling because our view model is not actually a view model. It is not deriving from a view model, and I think we have to do that anyway because we have here in the agenda that we would like to be able to switch between UI and background threads in the view model, and the view model that comes from Google is already having scope inside it. So I think we are just gonna use that one instead of like what else I can do is I can basically create my own scope and then listen on lifecycle events to do weird things, but that's already done automatically by the view model that comes from Google. So why just not use that one? And we know that it's gonna be maintained at least for a while, so I just don't see why I wouldn't just use this one. So now I made that a view model. So what did actually change is, yeah, let's maybe finish the entire, let's finish the entire structure here. So here now we are, it starts to compile, but now we have to also provide inside here the things that the view model is taking. So basically we need validator, and we're gonna say get. So because this get is not telling us exactly what's going on, I'm using named arguments here, so it's gonna make it a bit cleaner. What's what? So it takes the credentials validator and then a user repository, and I will also have to create those. So we need a factory for our regex credentials validator, and we need a factory for our user repository, and that one is taking user catalog, and the user catalog, I'm gonna define it as single, and I'll say in member user catalog. So I think I no longer need this. So this is the structure. So I think it's good enough for now. Most probably, for example, the in-memory user catalog is going to derive from a user catalog that's going to be an interface that the single will define, like, for example, here. But that's something that I'll do later, because at this point, I don't really need to. I don't have much of evidence. Why would I do that right now? So in that sense, it's fine to keep it this way for now. And then as I go with refactoring later, when I will need to do something, I will do that. So now that's the structure. I think here I'll let it be still. And what else? Because I want to create something, then make sure I didn't break anything, then replace, make sure I didn't break anything, and eventually delete what I had before. So in those particular steps. Okay, so this is the view model. I don't need it anymore. Now let's make sure we can check this in. So basically we have defined the module, and the last thing that we have to do is in the friends application, we have to start the Koin. And here we have to give Android context is gonna be this. And I don't particularly need this one at this point of time. But I can just go with the modules. Normally when if I define context, then Koin will know about the context by itself. So if I have to create, let's say, if I need to come up with, let's say, with things that are that need context, let's say shared preferences, that kind of things, I can use the context by saying just get. I don't have to specify anything, and by that get, we'll be able to fetch the application context by itself. So at this moment, I don't need it, so I can just leave it. And the modules are gonna be my application module. And that's it. Now I'll run the tests just to make sure I didn't break anything. And let's see. So it works well. And out of curiosity, because I created the view model, the class to derive from a view model, I can also run the micro tests and make sure that I didn't break anything as well. In that regard, so the unit tests are also running, and that's good time to check in. So what actually changed is I have defined an application module, and yeah, I believe that this one was supposed to be, no, I think it's from the same commit, because it's part of defining the view model here. So let's check this in. I'll say defined the application Koin module. And I no longer need this one anymore. So what we can do here now is we can pass here the sign up view model. So let's maybe try to introduce this as parameter. But yeah, With the automated refactoring, I couldn't make it, well, I can do in 2 steps. I wanted to make it in 1 step as like the first argument of the function, but I think I'll have to do it on like in 2 steps. But let's see if this is gonna work at all. Okay. And then I can do this. Sorry. This, and then I can move this one up, and then I'll do the refactoring. And basically these ones are becoming now unused. And now if I run, it won't compile because my main activity, which is actually yes. So because of this one, it is not compiling. And let's make it compile. So now instead of sign up ViewModel here, we will do sign up ViewModel, which is going to be a property. And this is gonna be by ViewModel sign up ViewModel. Okay, so I don't know, so I can basically get rid of this. Yeah. So that's my sign up ViewModel, and I'm passing the sign up ViewModel here. So and I can get rid of the named argument. Yeah, I think that looks pretty nice. Let's run and see if the tests are still running. Oops, those are my micro tests. Let's change back to my sign up. Yeah, we're still green, which is great. Now let's check that in as well. So what has happened here is we are passing the ViewModel, the sign up ViewModel as a function argument to the sign up screen. Yeah, good enough. And now I think if I go back to my, so basically everything works fine, and we have introduced the DI. And now what we can do is, for the duplicate account that we already have the behavior, we have the micro tests running for that. We have to also, I mean, I prefer to have a UI test for that one as well, so that I can make sure that the UI displays a proper UI, proper message to the user when they try to create an account that already exists. So let's go back to our sign up test, and here write a new test. And this one would be perform sign up, display duplicate account error. So what should happen? We are gonna launch our sign up screen with the sign up test rule, and we are gonna type email signed up user email. Then we are gonna type password designed up user password. So I'm just imagining that I'm gonna have a signed up user and signed up password, and I'll submit. And then my verification would say I want to make sure that verify duplicate user duplicate account error is displayed, is shown. Now this does not exist. Let's go ahead and create it. Oops, so here is a typo. Let's change that. Account. So we're gonna say that a rule on node with text duplicate account error assert is displayed, and this one is going to be, I'll just do rule activity get string. It's gonna be r string duplicate account error, and it doesn't exist. Let's create, and the value is gonna be an account with this email already exists, something like that. Okay, so now here let's define this password, and so the password is gonna be, let's say, so I'm imagining a user, let's say Alice, and the password is gonna be, let's say this one, and then also the email is gonna be alice@friends.com, something like this. Now the idea is that we need to have a user as a precondition for this test. So we need to have a user that was signed up with this. So basically, if I open my in-memory user catalog, this is where the users are kept. So we have users for a password, and like if I call this create user, it's gonna store it. So but I want to be able to, I need to be able to reach out to this dependency basically in my graph. And that's why Koin is superior, because I can actually tackle only some things that I really need to for a particular test, and then it allows me to make the tests as clean as possible, like as intention revealing as possible. I don't need to put irrelevant things in the test, in a sense. So what we will need to do is we have to, because when we run this test, the application is being created, the coin is being loaded, and it loads the module where we are defining our structure. So what we need to do is we want to be able to control only the in-memory user catalog. So what we can do is we can replace that one with an in-memory user catalog that we will be able to control here from this test. So I'm gonna go ahead here and create first let's make it private, user catalog, and that's gonna be an in-memory user catalog. So if I here call the user catalog and then create a user, and then here I'm gonna pass the signed up user email, the signed up user password, and just irrelevant about, it doesn't matter. So this is the precondition, and then I launch and then try to type. So basically this one, I'm gonna just create a helper function that will make this test even more descriptive. So let's say, what do I want to name this? Prepare or create user with. So create user with so type signed up. Yeah, I don't know if I like this a lot. Create user with signed up user email, signed up user password. And then because like I want the name to be signed up user email and signed up user password, because here I'm typing the signed up user email and the sign up, and then I am expecting duplicates. So I want that to be clear. So I think, yeah, it's not bad. I'm just struggling about this name, create user with yeah, but I think it's okay. It's not a problem. Anyway, so now the thing is that I need to replace the user catalog that is being loaded by Koin by default. So what I can do is I can create a new module, and here I can do override for my in memory user catalog, but instead of the in-memory user catalog, I'm gonna do the user catalog that I have created here. So I'm just overriding the type, and now in my setup, I'll do load Koin modules, sign up module. So that's gonna actually load this module, which actually has a replacement for the user catalog. So that's all what I need. And then here, if I let's go ahead and run the tests and see what's happening. So now it should have 2 tests, and the second one should fail, of course. And it fails because, let's see the reason. It cannot find something with text, an account with this email, blah blah blah. Okay, cool. That's exactly why I need why this test should fail. So back to my sign up screen here. Basically, we are not handling here the state of the what happens when the duplicate account is there. So the thing is that now we are showing how we are showing all these things is like we have a column where we show the username, the email, the password, and the about. And I want this error to appear on top, like as what we had as a frame layout in the XML. I want to do something like that here in Compose. So they are like the layer below. So this should be a layer above instead of like showing it somewhere randomly. So in order to do that, let's see. Actually, first maybe there is something to. Yeah, I think it's I don't want to commit that as just as a failing test. I want to make it pass first. So basically, the way to create this frame layout, what we had as a frame layout in the XML, basically layers one on top of another, we can use box. Now the box should have a should expand across the entire screen. So I'm just gonna do a fill max size. And then inside this box is gonna be the column. And on top of that, so this is where the column ends. I think I will need to improve a little bit this. So basically move this one into something like a sign up form, and then here is gonna be my my info message or an error message. Yeah, let's call it an info message. And then I'm gonna pass there a r string duplicate account error, and that's gonna be a function that will take string resource, and then it's gonna have a text inside. Let's first make this. So I'll need a surface that will have a I want to have a background on the surface. Modifier is gonna be a modifier background material theme colors. I don't know, secondary variant, let's say. Or maybe I should come up with error. Yeah, we'll see. So, yeah, maybe this info message should also take color, because if it's error one, color, if it's not error another, or maybe come up with different this kind of info messages. But yeah, for now, let's see how it's gonna look. So that's my modifier. Let's do the formatting to make this properly, and then inside I'm gonna have a text. Wait, I think this modifier should also feed the width of the screen. So fill max width, and maybe also a horizontal. No, I was thinking about having something like, I don't know if it has an alignment or something, but okay, I think we can do that later. Let's for now make the text, and the text gonna be the string resource for the duplicate account error. But of course, this one we should rename to something like a string resource. Yeah. Okay, so that's our info message, and it should show if the state is duplicate account. Yeah, that should make our test pass. Let's look at that. So the first test passing, the second test is showing that that info. But now let's make sure, like now that the background seems like was not there. Let's see if error works better. No, because I think I haven't defined in my colors. I have material or colors. Yeah, I think it's color KT. So here I don't no theme KT. So here I have primary variant, and secondary, and I don't have secondary variant or error, and that's why basically here it couldn't find a color for that. So what we can do is, for example, here we can say error is color red, and same here. And now now it's gonna show a background, I think. Let's look at that. No, it doesn't. But okay, I think let's directly try. This is the last try because I still don't know what's the problem. Okay, I give up. I'll figure that out later on. Let's leave it as something like this for now, and I'll undo what I've done here, because I think the theming should be dedicated episode, or I have to do that off camera if that might not be interesting. But anyway, I think now both tests are working, and let's check that in first. So what we have here is the duplicate account error is shown. That's part of the robot. Here we have, oh yeah, I think one thing to be very careful here is in our test, everything is fine, but basically when we override something here with another module, I think after the tests are done, we have to reset it back, because if I leave this one, if this is one test, it's fine. But once I have more tests, like I'm gonna create more test cases. If I forget something here, it might affect the next test case. So that's why I think it's good practice to just reset everything after the test run. So then for the new test cases, everything is gonna be clean. So here I'm gonna say after, I'll say fun tier down. I'll say reset module is a module that has the I think by default is single. Not that it matters for now, whether it is single or factory. I think for the entire application it matters, but for the test it can be both. It doesn't matter. So here I'm gonna say in memory user catalog, and I'll say load Koin modules reset module, and that should still leave the tests in green state. Nope, something went wrong. Okay, we have definition. Oh yeah, because I forgot here to say override true. So it says that it already knows about the definition. So when we try to load the new module, it already knows about it. So we have to explicitly say here that we want to override. And now both tests are running. Great. Let's check that in. So what we have is, again, a test for displaying the duplicate account error. Then the sign up screen actually is displaying that thingy. And I think now the sign up screen should have, I think we should do some cosmetics there, right? So like start splitting some of this apart, but also like, for example, this displaying this error message, for example. I want to animate it nicely. I want to add colors and that kind of things. So I'm thinking maybe first we'll finish the errors that we have in the agenda for example, when the device is offline or when the call does not succeed, and then we can do these cosmetics like to make the screen nice and perform as we want. Okay, yeah, I don't need this. And then the strings. So that's a nice commit. So we can show an error message when a duplicate account is being created. When the user attempts to create a duplicate account. Can show an error message when the user attempts to create a duplicate account. Great. So yeah, I think now everything works. I think I will just for the curiosity also run the back to my code. I can run the micro tests as well. And they work. And basically now I think I can also push this so that the CI will run and it will create new build. So all of you that have submitted your emails to me and I have added you as a beta testers, you will receive a new version. And also if you want, like whoever wants, just give me your email and I'm gonna add you in the beta testers, so you'll see the progress as we go. So we have finished this one. So what we want to go next is fail to create an account. So basically we want to focus on the offline and the backend errors. And then we can also look at the switching between the UI and the background threads in the ViewModel, and also add the loading states. And then we can also, yeah, this, remember the sign up user is the situation when, for example, we are signed up and we close the application. When we open, we don't want to see again the sign up screen, rather show the actual the timeline. And I'll just, not to forget, add here sign up screen cosmetics, make it beautiful. Okay, good. Not to forget, I don't know when this is gonna happen. Maybe after this, maybe after this, I don't know. I'll just leave it here, but we'll see. I know that for sure I want to work on the fail creating for the next episode. I think for this one, for this episode, I think we are done. Because we are already running around 50 minutes. So thank you so much for watching and for the attention. I hope you liked this episode, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Stay safe. Cheers.